Question. Does a language which one speak at that time alter its name?
Now you say, well, Pastor Anderson, we all know that Jesus Christ, he spoke Hebrew and he didn't speak Greek. Well, no, we don't all know that. Because of the fact that the whole New Testament's written in Greek, I believe that Jesus and his disciples spoke Greek. Now, I'm sure that they also spoke Aramaic, because the Bible does record the Lord Jesus Christ saying things in Aramaic. And I'm sure that they also understood Hebrew, because we see Jesus going into the synagogue and getting the scroll of Isaiah and reading from it. But the bottom line is that people throughout this world, throughout history and today, speak multiple languages. For example, if you talk to people today from India, they usually speak a local language, and then they'll speak a bigger regional language like Hindi or Bengali, and then they'll speak the global language, which would be English. So most of the people that I've met from India spoke at least 3 languages. They'd speak a local language, they'd speak Hindi, and then they'd speak English. Also, you run into people all the time from Africa who speak 3 languages. They'll speak some kind of a local, tribal type language that very few people speak. Then they'll speak Swahili, which is kind of lingua franca in Africa, just kind of a universal second language in parts of East Africa. And then they'll speak English, kind of the big, overarching, global type language. So I run into people from Africa all the time that speak 3 languages. Now, it just makes sense that the Lord Jesus Christ, if you look at the region that he lived in, probably spoke 3 languages. I'm sure he probably spoke Aramaic, Hebrew, and Greek. You say, well, why would he speak Greek? Well, if you look at Jesus' ministry, you'll see that people were coming from all over to hear Jesus' preaching. They weren't just listening to him in Judea, but also people were coming from places like Decapolis. People were coming from Syria. The Bible talked about his fame going abroad and people coming from the surrounding areas to hear him preach. And he didn't even grow up in Judea. He grew up in Galilee of the Gentiles. So it makes perfect sense that if he's growing up in Galilee of the Gentiles, he's going to know Greek also, since Greek was the big Gentile language in that area. Now,
Pastor, I don't think anyone will tell you that Yeshua only spoke Hebrew for his name to be in Hebrew. But rather, even you personally know that Yeshua is a Jew with Jewish parents, with Jewish customs, etc. Hence, his name cannot be in Greek by any means. Even if he spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, Latin, and even English, as you wish, did that really affect his given name? You rightfully stated that the people in East Africa, where I come from, speak 3 languages: Mother tongue, Swahili, and English. I personally can speak the 3 languages, Kalenjin being my native language. But when I switch from one language to another, my name remains the same. I also listen to many radio stations giving news in the 3 different languages. When they mention, for instance, our president, all say him by name Uhuru Kenyatta. At no time do this station attach Uhuru Kenyatta name to any language. You also have capitalized of the New Testament books having been written in Greek, and you have assumed the books of Matthew and Hebrews. You need to remember that the books of the New Testament were written in around 60 AD, long after the angel had delivered his name in around 1 AD, as in Matthew chapter 1, verse 20-21. When you read the verses, you get that the context is all Jewish. I don't see any possibility of the angel delivering a Greek name. Or are you saying the angel read the 2 to 3 BCE Septuagint translation and got the Greek name Jesus, then delivered it to Miriam? To me, the angel brought and delivered the Hebrew name, which was transliterated by the Septuagint by the Greek word Jesus. Would you tell your followers the Greek transliterations of the Hebrew name Yeshua, as in Exodus chapter 3, verse 11, its variants Yeshua, as in Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 17, and its long form Yehoshua, as in Numbers chapter 13, verse 16. yours Kirui Andrew.